Hi there and welcome to Apple World. Wendy Williams has been sitting tight for this second for a really long time, seeing Diddy Combs' hip jump symbol news investor. Furthermore, one of the most remarkable add-ups in the music business has at long last found himself in the music business and has at long last wound up at the center of attention for every one of some unacceptable reasons, with titles detonating about his new capture. Quite a large number are observing intently. However, one individual in particular is unobtrusively observing Wendy, who has a long and muddled history with Diddy, who is allegedly excited to see equity making up for lost time to the man she's long blamed for destroying her vocation. I have up data that he was captured this evening at a Manhattan lodging. He is as of now being handled. I heard from his lawyer that they are as yet keeping up with his blamelessness. They expressed that in expectation of these charges that Diddy migrated to New York last week. We should plunge into the delicious subtleties, beginning with Diddy's new capture. The show was unfurled in the core of Manhattan when government specialists dipped in capturing Diddy on a large number of significant accusations. It wasn't simply an irregular thump on the entryway. This was a very much planned activity that came following quite a while of theory. Furthermore, examination. Diddy had been under investigation for a long while, with specialists sorting out allegations that painted him as something beyond a disputable figure. The southern area of New York had been keeping their assets hidden, however. When the fixed prosecution was opened up, the world knew he was in genuine inconvenience. His capture comes following quite a while of claims stacking toward him, while Diddy's group was driven by lawyer imprint Agnifilo, who has been vocal in safeguarding him, calling the capture vile. It's unmistakable that the circumstance is not even close to a minor hiccup brought up that Diddy had willfully migrated to New York prepared to have to deal with the penalties head-on. He painted an image of a man anxious to demonstrate his innocence in court. However, we should not fail to remember this is Diddy we're discussing. So Diddy, if you're simply going along with us, was captured and taken into government care in New York this evening. Sources tell TMZ Country Security plunged into a midtown lodging Latte Monday, where Diddy was remaining, and they captured his domain, which traverses music style and even alcohol. Brands is presently disintegrating under the weight of these allegations, and keeping in mind that his legal advisor attempts to turn the account others see it diversely enter. Wendy Williams, she's been sitting back observing this unfurl with what can just be portrayed as a grin for those not in the know. Great explanation to feel justified right now. A long time ago, she was one of the first to stand up against Diddy and notice the world that something wasn't exactly right with him yet. Rather than being cheered for her trustworthiness, she was dark bully from the industry, compelled to revamp her vocation, starting from the earliest stage. Do it before I saw him even tell individuals on the telephone previously. Like you, as he did. Wendy Williams, the Wendy and Diddy quarrel goes way back practically, like a storyline straight out of an emotional drama. Everything began in the 1990s, when Wendy, then a rising star in the radio world, thought for even a second to discuss a few bits of hearsay twirling around. She didn't keep down making strong cases about his individual life and his conduct behind the scenes at the time. Diddy was on top of the world as a music investor with a brilliant touch. He wasn't simply persuasive. He was unapproachable, and he didn't take merciful to Wendy's analysis. This is Wendy Williams, the most sultry radio personality in New York City, in reprisal. Diddy purportedly utilized his enormous capacity to obliterate Wendy's vocation. As indicated by Wendy, it wasn't a basic falling out between two superstars. She guarantees that Diddy made a special effort to get her terminated from her radio gig at Hot 97. Imagine being in your prime with a rising profile and a developing fan base just to have everything grabbed away. Short term, that is precisely the exact thing that occurred to Wendy. Diddy's impact was areas of strength for, so that it seemed like everybody in the industry walked out on her when I returned to New York City in the event that she's on the radio broadcast and he's conversing with a radio chief. Wendy has forever been CD about how much this quarrel set her back. She didn't simply lose employment. She lost her whole stage for quite a long time. She needed to reconstruct her vocation, mauling her direction back to the top with her now notable syndicated program Yet. Even as she became quite possibly one of the most unmistakable appearances on daytime TV, she always remembered how Diddy attempted to delete her. She cautioned individuals in those days that Diddy wasn't the brilliant kid everybody thought he was. Nevertheless, nobody needed to tune in around. Then Diddy had the Midas contact and nobody needed to risk dropping out of his approval. You know what's more regrettable, you realize? Hip jump wearing skirts or hip jump being closeted and having a plenty of children to demonstrate masculinity that you know and refusal of something that Wendy wasn't simply sitting, however. Uninvolved tossing shade, she had genuine stories and experiences that made her careful about Diddy shit. Discussed how he employed his ability to threaten furthermore. Quietness the people who really considered crossing him in one, especially chilling occurrence. She reviewed how Diddy supposedly undermined her. Going similar to making brutal, perilous proclamations, these weren't simply meaningless statements by the same token. Wendy accepted that Diddy had the clout to just follow through with his aggressive statements, which extended her purpose to remain far away from him while proceeding to call him out for a really long time. Diddy dismissed the reports and allegations, his bigger-than-life persona safeguarding him from the aftermath. He was after every one of the quite possibly of the most influential figures in hip jump, creating hits and sending off the professions of endless stars, yet Wendy saw through the veneer. The First Lady to reveal the homo hooligans, she kept cautioning individuals, dropping clues here and there on her show, inconspicuously reminding her crowd that D wasn't as clean as a whistle as he maintained. That the world should accept. Each time she referenced him, you could detect the pressure in her voice, the sharpness of somebody who had been violated yet was persistently sitting tight for her snapshot of sign. And since second has at last accompanied Diddy in jail, having to deal with serious penalties that could land him in jail for quite a long time, on the off chance that not many years Wendy's peaceful bragging has turned into a subject of discussion by its own doing. She hasn't gone on record with the extensive articulation, yet sources near her say she's satisfied in any event, feeling a little unexpected about the entire circumstance later. All Diddy once had the ability to demolish her vocation. However, presently Diddy finds himself helpless before a framework far greater than his VIP. A couple of times I assumed I was going to pass out because it was stowing away on that flight of stairs. You realize I'm saying? And when they shut the entryways, I realized somebody going down. The incongruity isn't lost on Wendy, and it surely isn't lost on her fans. Many have taken a virtual entertainment to communicate their help for Wendy, calling attention to how she had cautioned the world about Diddy well before any of these allegations became visible. It's an exemplary instance of what I told you. Yet, in this example, the stakes are a lot higher than simply a VIP spat. Wendy's words from many years prior currently convey the heaviness of truth. As Diddy's cautiously developed domain starts to disintegrate around him, on the off chance that they don't do a container one outside and get these children off the entryway, someone going tea-night, he said. Jean, try not to stress over that. Wendy's excursion is a demonstration of strength notwithstanding all that Diddy did to attempt to quieten her. She arose more, not set in stone. Furthermore, with a stage significantly greater than the one she lost, she's verification that you can't hold a decent lady down regardless of how strong your adversaries might be, and keeping in mind that Wendy has had her own portion of discussions and battles. Especially lately, there's no rejecting that she's triumphing ultimately when it comes to Diddy. As insight about Diddy's capture keeps on overwhelming the titles, individuals are returning to Wendy's past remarks about him with a new perspective. What once seemed like tattle presently looks more like a prediction back to New York City. Wendy Williams was in Philadelphia at another station. Wendy wasn't simply tossing out unjustifiable bits of hearsay, she was pulling back the drape on a side of Diddy that the public wasn't prepared to see. And now that the fact of the matter is at long last becoming visible, Wendy's admonitions appear even more applicable. In the end, Wendy Williams might not have without any help cut Diddy down yet. She absolutely helped plant the seeds of uncertainty. Her ability to stand up in any event, when it costs her beginning and end, is an update that in some cases, reality requires a significant stretch of time to make up for lost time. Yet, when it does, it hits hard. What's more, yet we've additionally heard that there's some mysterious claim happening in New York City as it connects with Diddy as well, and talking about hitting hard, Diddy's fall from effortlessness isn't simply an individual triumph for Wendy. It's a significant second in the universe of superstar outrages. Individuals are beginning to address exactly how much power figures like Diddy have employed behind the scenes, and what different privileged insights may still be hiding in the shadows. For Wendy, it's a self-contradicting snapshot of approval. However, for Diddy, it's the start of what could be an extremely lengthy, what's more, agonizing excursion. Through the lawful framework, all charges that have become amazingly recognizable against Diddy in late months, as he has confronted claim after claim from ladies and men who have blamed him for every possible kind of terrible way of behaving, with Diddy presently confronting the full power of the law. The spotlight is on him such that it never has been before. However, one thing's without a doubt. Wendy Williams will observe intimately with a knowing grin all over and right when you figured things deteriorate for Diddy. The most recent flood of claims against him hit with a crushing weight the charges that were uncovered. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.